Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You are here with Adam. And I know, I did not post last Friday. And the simple reason for that was I'm not posting any more video games on my channel. And I will tell you more about that in the conclusion of this video. But for now, let's get into this video. So for today's video, I thought I would read some real life stalker stories because one of the most creepiest things out there is human beings, as I've explained multiple times on this channel, being stalked. If you want to hear some stalker stories, then keep on watching. Okay guys, so I found 5 creepy stalker stories with a creepy plot twist. I think that's the name of it. But anyway, so let's get into it. So the first one that I see is called The Watcher Claims Ownership of New Jersey Mansion. So I know this story. I've heard videos on it, and they're like, people dedicate a whole video to this, like this case, you could call it, because it is. And it's just so creepy, and I don't know what I would do in that situation. But I definitely heard of this one, so I'm kind of glad this one popped up, because it's major stalker stories. So when a couple recently laid down $1.3 million for a 7,500 square foot mansion, they assumed they'd found their dream home. Which is weird because it's located in New Jersey, which you might recognize as the polar opposite of a dream scenario. Still, they were psyched, and who am I to judge? The coolest thing about the place where I live is that there's no one else here with me. So if I get a little blood on the floor and decide to leave it there like some kind of conversation piece from the investigation discovery gift shop, no one says squat. Speaking of blood, let's get back to that couple. 3 days after closing on their new home, they received a letter from a man, just an assumption I'm making and never wavering from, who referred to himself only as the Watcher. And boy, did he have news. According to his correspondence, the couple's new digs have been the subject of his family for decades. No, I don't know exactly what that means either, which makes it so much more terrifying, but it gets worse. After adding the house had been watched by his grandfather in the 1920s and his father in the 1960s, he advised that he'd put in a charge of overseeing its second coming. So, this may be a little confusing, but this is the Watcher. This is the, like, you know, the Watcher. He's claiming that his grandfather of the 1920s and his father in the 1960s has watched this house. So now it's his turn to watch this house, if that makes sense. It's basically tradition to watch this house. So keep that in mind. It wasn't the only letter either. There were several. Each one creepier than the one that came before. At various points, the mysterious scribe mentioned the previous owners by name, claimed they'd promised to bring him young blood. I mentioned details about the interior of the house. He asked who would be occupying the rooms facing the street, on the grounds that would help him plan better. If you guys obviously are confused now on what the Watcher just said, because he said who would be occupying the rooms facing the street, on the grounds that they would help him plan better. So basically, you know, if you guys would actually have to watch a video by I watched the video by Haley Reese, and her video just explained it so well on what's happening, and because she did a full video on this. But basically that's what's saying on, he wants to know which children are in which rooms so he can plan better. And that's so creepy to figure out. That's so creepy to think about. And when I was watching like the video on Haley Reese, it also mentioned in the letter that he said if they don't tell him, he will figure out soon enough when they move in. Unsurprisingly, the couple was spooked to the point that they never even bothered moving in. They filed a lawsuit against those previous blood-promising owners who had received a Watcher letter of their own before the sale closed, a horrifying amenity they failed to disclose to prospect buyers. Of course, you can't file a lawsuit like that and then turn around and not disclose the fact that your house has an obsessed fan to people who express an interest in making a purchase. Needless to say, that makes uploading the house through traditional means a bit of a long shot, unless the watcher is really just an elaborate scam of the part of someone looking to buy the house at a reduced price. Maybe someone who got outbid at some point during the process and had led to the initial sale. I really feel like I just proved the break this case so desperately needs, but I'm not going to get cocky about it. That's the end of the thing. There's so much more details. Like, the letters are so detailed that you'd actually have to watch a full video on this. If you would like me to make a full video on this, I would not mind at all. This case is very interesting and very creepy at the same time. If you would want me to make a full video on the case of the Watcher, then comment that down below. The next story is Kevin Gary has his day in court repeatedly. So by the name of this story, this seems boring, but we're just gonna stick with it and read it. Kevin Gary is kind of the Scientology of stalkers. There's Scientology for everything. I'll explain later. In that, if you question his actions in a way that makes him look bad in the eyes of the public, he will use the legal system to make your life a living hell. First, though, he'll make your life a living hell on his own. That's what he set out to do after a woman named Harriet Williams gave her business card at a party. Well, his initial intent was to ask her out when he called her the very next day, but when she had the gall to shoot him down, things got weird. It started with Gary driving past Williams' place of employment on an almost daily basis. She noted that he was in different cars each time, like some kind of budget-minded Jay Leno using his fleet of 15,000 to 17,000 mid-sized sedans to pull off the crappiest jaywalking skid of all time. He also called her dozens of times a day. As every stalker training manual since the dawn of the telephone era has instructed, so far this is all standard operating procedure. Gary started to set himself apart from the average love-stick psychopath when he approached a maintenance man at Williams' apartment complex with an offer that was just too good to refuse. $500 in exchange for a key to her place. Actually, the offer should be so easy to refuse. The odds that you won't be spending that money securing a dollar store defense lawyer to guide you through the process of being tried and convicted as an accessory to murder are just astronomical. And that's just the beginning of the myriad reasons you shouldn't do it. Not wanting to carry around the guilt of knowing you're a person made mostly of trash should be another. It's fortunate that this service, the deviation from typical apartment maintenance policy, didn't end in murder. It's less fortunate that it did end with Williams realizing that not only had Gary been in her apartment, but that he licked the bathroom mirror while he was there. Talk about getting sick. Or someone did, at least, and that it was him probably wasn't too many spots ahead of the conclusion, Matt. If that's the one a person wanted to jump to. Gary was eventually arrested and charged with stalking. He went to prison for his crime, and in a perfect world, and that would be the end of the story. It's not even close. Upon being released, Gary promptly filed a $100 million lawsuit against Harriet Williams and a production company that featured her story on a true crime series, claiming both had slandered his good name with their baseless stalking allegations. Never mind that this was a crime he'd already pleaded guilty to, because he had a perfectly sound explanation for that. If you ever watched the movie Roots, Roots, by Alex Haley, the same way Kunta Kinte proclaimed his innocence, it's the same way I proclaim my innocence. They forced Kunta Kinte to say Toby. They forced me to say Toby to take a plea. It should go without saying that those are the words of a man who acts as his own lawyer in court. They add that That adds yet another layer of silly and frivolous to the lawsuit, and thanks in large part to your misguided faith. That adds yet another layer of silly and frivolous to his lawsuit, and thanks in large part to your misguided faith in the American court system. You're likely assuming the case was immediate dismissed into oblivion. Technically, yes, it was, but that's precisely the kind of outcome appeals are made for, and Gary had appealed this nonsense all the way up to the Michigan Supreme Court. That's not somewhere you get too fast, and that case is no exception. He's dragged the fiasco out for more than 10 years, far surpassing the number of years he actually spent harassing William through more traditional means. He's the kind of stalker version of a cop who gets injured in the line of duty in such a way that he's forced to resign himself of a lifetime of soulless desk work. There's one of those for everything, too. Here's the next one. Derek Knowles is dedicated to stalking. Not an interesting name, but like I said, we'll go on with it. You know who still listens to the radio? Crazy people. A 50-year-old trucker from England named Derek Knowles provides this recently when he harnessed the awesome person-to-person communication possibilities of the FM radio format to circumvent a restraining order. He earned that cease and desist being a creep letter by a virtue of stalking a woman with incessant text and phone calls after she broke off the 3-month affair. The court demanded he stay away from her for 5 years. But Knowles devised a brilliant workaround when he began texting dedication requests to DJs at London's Smooth FM. The creepy messages, some of which were read on the air, described the victim as his future bride. Because, as stated earlier, no one listens to the radio, it took a while for people to catch on to what was happening. After a friend who was familiar with the situation heard one of the dedications read on the show Lynn Parsons in the morning, she contacted the victim, who immediately went to the police. An investigation revealed that Knowles had spent 10 dedication requests, but there was no way of knowing which ones or how many of them actually made it onto the air. Among some of the creepier messages police uncovered, I quote, "Hi Lynn, could you say hi to the beautiful victim's name? We'll see you later for coffee. If possible, could you play some Take That? Hi Lynn, could you please say hello to that couple of friends, Derek Knowles and victim's name? Hope they are still together. Could you say hi to Derek and victim's name? Ask him if he's asked her to marry him yet." In another, he pretended to be the victim and sent himself a get well soon message. Sticking to the official creep code of honor, Knowles decided to represent himself in court. He was sentenced to 6 months in jail and suspended for 2 years, along with 100 hours of unpaid work. Okay guys, so I'm going to stop there for this video. There's 2 more, but I don't want this video getting out of hand because lately my videos have been around 20 minutes and that's not cool. I know that most people don't like long videos, and if you do, I'm sorry. I don't want to bore people who are new to this channel. Anyway, if you want me to make a part 2 to the video and just finish the last 2 stories, then just comment down below and give this video a thumbs up so I truly know. Okay guys, so that's the end of the Stalker stories. So if you like them, just give this video a big thumbs up. That would mean a lot to me. And back to what I was about to say on me not posting any more gaming videos. I'm just not getting the views that, I'm not getting as much views as my normal sit-down videos are getting. And, if you like the gaming videos, then just comment that down below. Maybe I'll consider putting them back up. But as of right now, my firm decision is not. And it's undecided if I'm going to be putting a sit-down video on every Friday, like I did with the Video Game Fridays. So, it's undecided. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just keep it at 1 video a week from now on after this month. I don't know. Give me your guys' output or input, whatever. Give me your guys' what you think in the comments down below. Anyway, without any further ado, I think this is the end of the video, and, make sure to give me a thumbs up. That would mean a lot. As well as, if you're new, hi, I'm Adam. I do a bunch of videos like this, and if you want to see more, just hit the subscribe button. It's that easy. It takes like 5 seconds, and, that would mean a lot. I'm still a newer channel, and that would mean so much to me. I'm still struggling with this channel, and, if you subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. And you guys don't know, like, this was my long life dream of creating a YouTube channel, and now that I have it, I finally realized how hard it is to actually succeed in YouTube, and I give credit to all the YouTubers that started a YouTube channel and have 1 million subscribers, because that's just so amazing. Anyway, if you would subscribe, that would mean so much to me. Anyway, make sure to keep your bell notification on to get notified whenever I upload. Remember, I'm uploading every Monday through Thursday. I changed my schedule for this month, Monday through Thursday. If not, I will post Friday as a normal sit-down video. But as of right now, I have nothing planned for Friday. So that's why I'm not posting anything on Friday, or I'm not planning to. If I do, then you'll get notified if you press the notification bell. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you tomorrow.